Welcome back to Doing Life Different. I'm so grateful that you are here today. This episode is for every woman over 40 or 50 who has ever felt anxious, scared, overwhelmed, or like life is moving faster than she can keep up. So if you're in that season where you're trying to hold it together while everything inside is falling apart, this is your episode. Today, we are diving into the first daily shift from my book, 5 Daily Shifts to Hear Your Calling and Heal Your Mindset. And that first shift is stillness. Stillness is that doorway it just leads to every kind of healing. It's where God speaks, it's where anxiety quiets, and it's where the next right step becomes clear. So, if you're feeling overwhelmed or anxious or burned out or feeling like life is so loud right now, this episode is for you. So, I'm just going to ask, think about it. When was the last time that you just sat in stillness? I am not good at this. I am not a patient person. And lately, I've been finding myself going back to some bad old habits that I had before I started my healing journey. And I find that I'll spin out on a worry or a decision, but I won't sit and be still and feel it and let it, kind of run through my mind and listen for God. And I want you to know that at the end of this episode, I am going to talk about how you can help yourself get to a point where you can be still, because I know sometimes that's hard even to do that. But I want to share my story. And because I was kind of forced to be still. And here's the deal. I've been in Arizona visiting my daughter. This is, almost 2 years ago now. And I realize that I am a woman who has spent my whole life in fight or flight, in white-knuckling it, in trying to be perfect, and trying to be someone that people look up to and do everything right. And I did know God and I did want to serve him, and my divorce and mediation work helped me get there. But I was spinning in a sea of not really feeling peace and joy, and I started realizing I don't think that's normal. So one night in Arizona, I woke up in the middle of the night full of anxiety, and I was so overcome and sad, and I just prayed. I was like, God, just please take this away. Like, I want to live my life without feeling this. I just want to live. I want to serve you. I want to use my gifts and I want to go for it without being so worried about what everyone thinks or, what's going to happen to me. And I prayed and I felt a supernatural kind of love that I didn't feel a lot because I thought I had to be perfect, but you never can to be loved. And I did. I felt this love, like this tremendous love from God. And then I kind of like got up and didn't think about it. And the grandkids came, and little did I know God was going to answer my prayer about 3 weeks later through a hardcore diagnosis and treatment plan that I did not see coming. Before we had gone to Arizona, I had gone to get a mammogram, which never scared me. I get scared about like heart stuff and my blood pressure. I was never really scared about a mammogram. I didn't have any breast cancer in my family, but I did get a call that I needed to come back in. So right when we got back, I went in, and it was the most terrifying thing I had ever been through. And after the biopsy, which was awful, and I just couldn't. I was just like, "What in the world? This is happening to me." And so I ruminated over that, and the radiologist or the doctor who had looked at it was like, "Yeah, I'm pretty concerned about this." I was like, "I've got it," and they zeroed in on it, and it looked like a huge, part that was infested with this possible cancer. And I went home and had to sit with that because you know what? when you go through something hard, this could have been one of my hardest. When you go through something hard, it stops you in your tracks. And what I learned from that stopping in my tracks, this is what I want you to know, is that sometimes you need to do that even if it's not such a big thing. Stop in your tracks so you can learn and hear and know where you need to go. So I was forced to stop and feel because what else are you going to do? So I was concerned and I just had to sit with it. I had to sit with it until I learned more. Then I got the call, I think the next day, and they said, yes, you do have breast cancer. And, I was hearing things like it's early detection. It was almost a relief. I don't know if you can understand that, but it was almost a relief to know for certain what it was. And so I sat with that, and there was kind of nothing I could do. And I am a person who wants to fix everything and make it right. I mean, my kid had a problem, let me fix it. That's why I'm a great divorce mediator. I want to help you find a solution. That's all I did was find solutions. But you know what? Sometimes you got to just fricking let go. And that's what I had to do. And that's what God was showing me. Let go. And so I sat there and it did not feel good. I'm not saying it felt good. I don't want to ever go through it again, but I had to let go and feel it. And I noticed that I didn't handle it the way I thought I would. I just let go and I asked God to put the physicians in place that I needed and to bring me through this. I surrendered to God for the first time in my life. And it was a beautiful thing, even though it didn't feel good. I remember going out to the barn, my horse barn, and bawling on a bale of hay. And because just like ugly, crying, not brave, just bleh, bawling, bawling, bawling for a long time, what seemed like a really long time. And I did a lot of walking. I just walked and felt and walked and felt. And then, I had to go in for more testing and it was just a lot of waiting. If you want to like learn patience, that's like taking the cold plunge. So I did an MRI and I weighed it. And yes, it didn't look like it was in my lymph nodes and it was small. And I had the most beautiful surgeon. And you can go back and listen to her on my episode that came out during breast cancer month in October. And she was beautiful. And she just wants her patients to know this is curable. And she sat down and she spent so much time with me. And, she said, if it's this kind, you do have to have chemo, but it's just as curable as the other. It's still early detection. It's still little, but this is how they fight this one. This one, you need this one. And she had suggested a lumpectomy because it was a small area. And so I kind of let go. And I have a daughter who's a medical doctor who's used to me. Like I'm always digging into the health stuff. Like, what can I do to be healthier? Because I didn't want to get sick. I thought I could control it. And I stopped and I didn't dig in. I didn't look at it. I didn't look at anything. I just sat. I just sat and I felt kind of icky. And you want to know what? You can have a lot of people around you who love you, but you are alone except for God. You are alone because no one is going through exactly what you're going through. And it was weird. And it was like I couldn't make it better for my kids. There was a part of me as I went through the whole process where I wanted everyone to know how well I was doing through the whole thing, which was stupid, but whatever. I had to go through it how I had to go through it. And I didn't want to join a group. I didn't want to be a breast cancer warrior. And I am not judging you. And if you are that person, you be that person because people need that too. I am all for that, but that wasn't me. I just had to be by myself. I didn't want a lot of people around. I think one of my really good friends is still hurting from that. I didn't want her to come with me to chemo. I didn't want it to be like that. I just wanted to barrel through it on my own. And you have to handle it however you handle it. I had my prayer warriors that would pray for me. So it's times going on and and I have to go in for the surgery, which I'm terrified of because I have malignant hypothermia, which that's scary in itself. So, like in our family, people die when the anesthesiologist doesn't do a good job, but they did a great job, and I knew they would, and they knew about it, so everything would be fine. But I had people praying. I had my prayer warriors that I would tell my fears to, a big group of friends, which I highly recommend. That was my group. And I would tell them, I would feed them information, and I would ask for prayers. And that morning, I had to be the first one for surgery because of they want the equipment clean and stuff when I go in. And I'm going in, and it's like the day I don't want to live through. Right? I don't want to go through this ever. And I'm driving in, and I'm not happy. I don't want to do this. And yet I could feel like on that dark, gloomy day, I could feel everybody's prayers and support and God, and like the angels were driving me there. And I'm not lying, it didn't feel good. And not all of life is going to feel good. Like that was reminded to me when I watched The Chosen and I watched Jesus in his life. He didn't want to die on the cross, and he's God. We don't want to go through hard things. We go through hard things. And it's the way it is. And so it's up to you how you want to handle that, and if you want to think it's there for you to grab a lesson from. And I did have that. And so I went through that hard, and I felt that supernatural peace, and it was because of all those prayers. And I had the surgery, and I remember I was kind of scared, and I don't even want to admit this. I didn't know if I was going to have a nipple when I woke up. My surgeon was so kind, and she was able to keep that. They have to kind of keep looking around to make sure, and they took a couple lymph nodes, and then you go home and you wait. And you wait and you see if it's in your lymph nodes, and you wait and you see what kind it is so you can figure out the treatment. And that was when I learned my silence and my patience, and there was nothing I could do but sit and wait. And I did not look up anything. I surrendered. And so as time went on, I would learn some good things and I would learn some hard things. So I learned that it wasn't in my lymph nodes. I was even smaller, teeny tinier than they thought. Um, I got to keep my nipple, but I had the kind that you had to have chemo. And but I know now that I needed to go through that to really learn all the lessons that I needed to learn that I am no better or worse than anyone else. I am a person, and sickness and bad things do not discriminate. We all go through them. And I remember, then it became, oh, I don't want to lose my hair crap. And my oncologist said I didn't have to do like the red devil chemo where you're going to lose your hair, and I cold capped. So she's like, you're not going to go bald. Your hair's not going to look the same. And she said, I think you're going to tolerate chemo really well. And I did. And going back, if you know anyone who has to go through this, I wish I would have known. The worst part was how scared I was of it. I did great through it. I set up my life so that I could take a nap. I walked and walked and walked, and I was still. And I didn't see a lot of people because I didn't want to, but I had that connection with community through those prayer warriors. And it went very well. And when I went to the oncologist before I started the chemo, she said, you're cured. So rejoice in that. The cancer's out of you. Now we're doing all of this to make sure that it doesn't come back. And I've had 2 great MRIs after, and I'm on the other side of it, which is so interesting because I learned all these great lessons. I learned how to be still. I learned how to feel hard feelings and sit with them, because life is going to have its moments, and it's up to you to take them and learn from them. And what I learned just automatically is like, now, if I sit with a baby and hold that grandchild or that puppy, or I sit in my garden and let the sun hit my face, I really sit. I know how to sit and be still because I had the cold plunge of that by that bad, scary diagnosis. So all these things taught me how to be still. And what I do want to give you some tools. Um, I use balling on the hay bale. I use the scary diagnosis. And by the way, I am cured. It's all good. But I use all of that to be still. Now, when I get back in my life and the years go by and I find myself spinning out over silly decisions when I look at them, but they're big to me, now sometimes I still don't want to sit. Why is that? Like, I don't want to give myself the time. I just keep spinning out about it, a decision I have to make, say, or something hard. Now I know, and I just went through this again. I had to sit down, and here's one way. I want to give you some different tools. But this is the way that I learned how to really be still and hear God is I go to a place where I feel a tremendous amount of love. It can be your wedding day. For me, it's a lot about rocking my grandbabies and holding them. And I go back to that and I feel it and I feel that love again. And then I go around and I go, where's God here? And then I see him and I sit in that stillness. And if I have a question for him, I ask him the question. And sometimes I turn into those weird ladies who actually hear God. I was like never that lady. I would hear that and I would be a judger and be like, you don't really hear that. Or I'd be like, wow, I'm a piece of junk because I don't hear them. But if I give myself a little time to listen and then I dive into his words, sometimes I can find things there too. But I am starting to be able to hear him when I'm in the quietness. And so that's one way that I pray now. And I still lose it, guys. I don't have all the answers. I'm just sharing my stories with you so it can help you. So if you're going through something hard, like I want a divorce, you have cancer, you have heart disease, your child won't speak to you, your child's in trouble, your child's sick, whatever it is, I want you to be still. And I want you to be aware. And I have a feelings wheel that's free to you on my website. Go get it because a lot of times just naming that feeling in the stillness is going to heal you. It's going to be this, it's going to be the start. And sometimes people just already feel better. They go, oh, I feel unworthy. And you just sit and you feel it for a second. And sometimes I just hold on to God and when it's a bad, like an anxiety feeling, and I just bring him with me and I go, let's go take a look at this. Um, so here are the ways. These are tools. If you're like, I cannot stop my head from spinning, go take a walk outside. Well, that's one way. That's one way that I became still. Cry your eyes out in your safe place, like in your barn on hay bales, whatever that place is for you, go and feel it and cry your eyeballs out. Okay. If you're like sitting in a room and you're going through a divorce mediation and you're hyperventilating or, um, you know, you're sitting and you're trying to hear a doctor, this simple trick of rubbing your fingers together and just feel them. Bring your mind to that. Feel it. Just feel that for a few moments. No one's going to know you're doing it. Feel your bottom on the chair. Just sit and feel that for a moment. That gets you back into your body and it gets you still. If you're in the middle of a horrible situation, like sometimes we don't have time to think. Sometimes someone throws something at us and we got to you want to respond. Just sit and feel it. And sometimes it's taking a breath in. These are ways that you can start to feel the stillness. I know that now when I wake up in the morning, I used to like jump on my phone and look at my sleep app and go, oh, I wonder how I slept today. Now I breathe and I try to do this thing that a lady taught me on this website. I try to go back to the day before and go, okay, where did I see God yesterday where I didn't expect him? That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for those or what you're grateful for, whatever it is. But I like trying to find those little miracles. And so I go there and then I grab, when I look at my phone, I have taught myself now the first thing I look at is a Bible verse and I make myself read it and I make myself sit with it. Then I might go and look at my I might go look at something else. But that's how I can get still in the morning. I don't know if you're like me or if I'm odd this way, but I can wake up with anxiety and I'm like, what the heck? How can I wake up from sleep anxious? Right? Like, how does that happen? I do. And so that's when I have to like be still in my bed before I jump out of it. So these are tools to help you get still. I'll put the little, ebook, it's $3.99 on Amazon. I'll put that in my show notes. I will also put a way for you to sign up for my newsletter. If you want to get a free copy of that ebook, just sign up for my newsletter, and then you'll have a way to connect with me. And so then you can just email me and ask for the book or get a hold of me. I just want you to have the book. I just I just want to help you, and I want to share with you what I learned through going through something hard. And it doesn't mean that it's going to stop you from going through something hard, but I promise you, and always used to tell my divorce clients because I heard it from other people that every time someone went through a really hard divorce that they didn't want to go through, when they were a couple years out, they would look back and they would go, "Oh, I'm so thankful I went through that." Use your hard times for lessons because that's what God is placing them here for. And sometimes they're really hard. Sometimes they're way worse than what I went through. But use them and it gives you purpose, which we know that's what's leading us to the joy is to have that purpose. But you have to be still and feel your feelings to even start taking a baby step to that purpose. And I don't know everything. I used to think I did. I was a coach and I would coach people through things, and it has helped me. But I know that I don't know. And I know that I don't know things. But these are tools that have helped me, and they're moving me in the direction to a more joyful, loving, fulfilling, purpose-filled life, and I just wanna live to fill that calling, and I want you to too. I really, really want you to. So just, subscribe to this, podcast, subscribe to my newsletter. I'm here for you, and I'm gonna be diving into so many more things in the future like this. I'm so excited about it. And I'm so thankful for all of you being here listening to me. I am filled with gratitude and I am feeling so blessed. And I pray that you listening to this also can start this journey to a purposeful, joyful life. Take good care.